The United States announced sanctions against Russian oil companies, including oil and natural gas purchase. Trump, in a social media post, said that U.S. Treasury sanctions major Russian oil companies, calls on Moscow to immediately agree to cease fire. These tremendous sanctions, as Trump calls them, take effect on 21st of November and could also impact India's supply chain, as India imports almost 36% of its crude from Russia.
A week after US President Donald Trump's lengthy phone call with Russian President Vladimir Putin, which was to be followed by a meeting in Budapest, Trump has jolted global oil markets by announcing fresh US sanctions on Russian oil. Trump has imposed sweeping sanctions on Russia's two largest oil companies, Rosneft and Lukoil, aiming to pressure Putin to end the war in Ukraine. The sanctions are set to take effect from November 21st. The announcement came as the proposed Trump-Putin meeting was indefinitely postponed.
Yeah, it's a good question. Today is a very big day in terms of what we're doing. Look, these are tremendous sanctions. These are very big. Those are against their two big oil companies, and we hope that they won't be on for long. We hope that the war will be settled.
Trump's move comes after European Union approved its 19th package of sanctions against Moscow, and Britain sanctioned Rosneft and Lukoil last week. The step is a major setback for India, which relies heavily on Russian crude. Trump has already imposed a 50% tariff on Indian imports, half of it as punishment for purchasing Russian oil. Russia slammed the sanctions, warning of severe global repercussions.
We see this step as entirely counterproductive, including in terms of signaling in favor of achieving a meaningful negotiated solution to the Ukrainian conflict. If the current US administration follows the example of its predecessors, who attempted to coerce or force Russia into sacrificing its national interests through unlawful sanctions, the result will be exactly the same: disastrous from a domestic political standpoint and detrimental to the stability of the global economy.
Trump, meanwhile, reiterated that India had assured him it would stop Russian oil imports, a claim the Indian government has not confirmed.
Well, I think I'll be talking to him about it. I think it's a little bit of a different talk. India, as you know, has told me they are stop. You know, it's a process. You can't just stop it. But by the end of the year, they'll be down to almost nothing. That's a big thing. There was almost 40% of the oil. India, they've been great. Spoke to Prime Minister Modi yesterday. They've been absolutely great.
Sources say Indian state refiners are reviewing their Russian oil contracts to ensure no shipments come directly from Rosneft or Lukoil. Reports also suggest that Reliance Industries, India's largest buyer of Russian oil, is preparing to recalibrate its imports to align with government guidance following the new US sanctions. All eyes are now on India and Russia to see how they respond to Washington's latest sanctions on Russian oil. With Neha Kumari, Bureau Report, India Today.